controller versus keyboard might actually be the most intense debate going on in the Call of Duty community right now, which is a really nice change of pace considering the fact that the last few releases, the argument has been whether or not the game has sucked. And by most accounts, most people would agree this time around, Black Ops 6, it's a hit. It's really good. If you enjoy Call of Duty, you're gonna enjoy this game. If you hate Call of Duty, you're not gonna enjoy this game. The Omni movement is fun, but it's not enough to move the needle to make new people come to this game and feel like it's completely fresh. And if you've had the opportunity to play this game on both controller and keyboard and mouse, you will recognize there's an absolute huge distinctive difference between the two. Right off the rip, you can feel the auto assist, you can feel the cursor, the reticule being pulled to the player in almost every fight. And of course, we all know the controller does need aim assist to help balance that with the keyboard and mouse. I'm not gonna argue that, but it does feel Black Ops 6 is pushing the envelope, going as far as you can when it comes to how much aim assist the controllers have. Keyboard and mouse is always going to have the advantage when it comes to turning around quickly and making quick moves. And while movement is extremely important in how good you are at this game and how well you perform, nothing will ever be more important than how good you are at aiming. After all, the bullets have to hit the person. If you've played Call of Duty, you recognize the type of aiming the game has, the type of system it uses. It's pretty easy to get the reticule near the person, but it's that last 5 to 10% getting it right on them that's usually the most difficult. And that's where the controller makes such a difference. Even when you're diving and using Omni movement, the aim assist, it makes such a difference in how well you aim. Which then brings me to the controls, including the way you use Omni movement. It just seems like there are way too many buttons, way too many keys to use on the keyboard this go around. And with Omni movement requiring you to use 2 different buttons, and then on top of that aim and shoot, it just feels again to be a little bit too much. On the controller, you have to simply press one button while you're sprinting, and then boom, you're already in the air. For me personally, when I just want to play casually, when I want to sit down and just enjoy myself, I'm going to gravitate towards the controller. There's just something about the controller, the aesthetic, about the style of holding it. You can even lean back if you want to chill, and just like the meme says, lean forward if you want to get locked in. Using the controller comes with this feeling that you're not taking it too seriously. You're here to have a good time. But if I really want to get engaged, if I really want to go for that top spot, I'm going to use the keyboard and mouse. Just like everything else in life, there is a payoff here. There is a balance. While the controller is easier to use, it seems the keyboard and mouse leaves the opportunity for a higher peak. And what do I mean by this is that the controller is the input that's going to give you more consistent play. It's like a curve on a test. It's easier to consistently play well on controller, but the keyboard and mouse is unforgiving. If you swing it too far, there isn't that aim assist to help slow it down and bring you in. You're going to miss your shots and you're going to die immediately. The choice of whether you pick controller or keyboard really varies on how much you have the chance to play the game. If you have the time and you can play the game as much as you want, you should probably go with keyboard and mouse. At the end of the day, your keyboard, it's a full cockpit for you, whereas the controller, it's a limited amount of inputs. But if you're someone who's looking to casually get on and play and try and compete with all the tryhards that are around you, then the obvious answer is the controller. And at the end of the day, that actually makes complete sense. Call of Duty is tailored and made for people that want to play casually. I don't think I've ever heard of competitive Call of Duty. Is that a thing? No, wait, seriously, is that a thing? So it's really just about what you want to get out of the game. You really shouldn't dog someone for what they choose to play on. They're both awesome, and I recommend playing on them both because it provides a completely different experience. One thing that I think is so important in games today is for that game to be playable on both controller and keyboard. I myself enjoy playing these games on both inputs. Games have a completely different feel when you're using controller as opposed to keyboard and mouse. And in all honesty, that's a really good way to help keep the game fresh for yourself, to keep mixing it up. But then again, if you have access to both and you see all these advantages that the controller has, why would you pick the keyboard and mouse? What are your thoughts? Have you used both? Do you use controller? Do you use keyboard and mouse? Do you think controller players have a huge advantage? Or do you think keyboard and mouse players need to check their privilege and just keep it moving? Alright, that's enough yapping for today. As always, hit that sub button and turn on notifications. Go out there and do something great.